Hey, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Taz from Take It Outside. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Welcome back if you're returning. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. I really do appreciate everybody's support. As you can see, we are over 300 subscribers. However, we still don't have a winner. You may ask, well, why is that? Well, I've drawn a winner twice, and neither of them have followed the rules and emailed me. My email is in the description. All you have to do is email me your name and your address so I can ship out the item to you. Plain and simple. I can't ship anything to anybody if I don't have your information to do so. So we've got a couple choices here. All right. So first choice is we go ahead and redraw for the 52-piece icon set. Or choice two, we take that icon 52-piece set along with the 600 subscriber giveaway, which is a Leatherman multi-tool. Combine those together and just have one big giveaway on the new way that I'm going to be doing these giveaways. So I briefly touched on it before, but basically what's going to be happening is there is a company / website, whatever you want to call it, and it creates a link. You click that link, you sign in, verifies that you are a subscriber of mine, and you are entered in. Once the count is reached, then it will randomly select the winner. It will email you, and then you email me, so on and so forth, yada yada. So I'm going to post this video and give it a week, and whatever you guys decide, that's what we'll do. So again, either we're going to redraw, or we're going to lump everything together and have one big giveaway. So y'all let me know what y'all want to do. Alright, so hopping into today's video, we've got a little bit of hodgepodge of things. Yes, I am on the bike, but I am heading over to the gun range. This is not going to be, you know, just a straight up moto vlog. This is actually going to be a gun cleaning video because that has been requested a few times now, and I want to go ahead and get that content out for you guys. So we are taking a ride on down to the gun range. I'm going to hit some twisties if we can find some. I'm going to shoot a little bit, and then we're going to come home, clean the gun, and just have a little talking session. But y'all stick around. Let me know what you think, man. I've done a lot of work on these settings. I got an ND filter for the camera to kind of help with some of that brightness. Hopefully my audio is sounding a little bit better. I can see that it's peaking a little bit. I'm just gonna have to edit that. I can't really do much. But the main thing is the actual settings themselves. I have done a lot of research. So we're gonna go ahead, get you flipped around, put you right here up on the mount, and then we're going to get riding. So y'all stick around. I really do appreciate everybody's support. On to the gun range. time I was running through here, there was actually people working on stuff, so that's why I kind of went a little slow right there. But it seems like they're not working on the weekend, so I speed it up a little bit here. All right, y'all. So, silly me editing the video. The audio at the gun range is still connected to my mic, which is in my helmet, which is behind the counter at the gun shop. So you don't get anything that I'm talking about. But basically, I'm at various ranges. I shoot 185 rounds that day. Yesterday. Start off at 3 yards and then progress from 3 to 5 to 7 to 10, and then kind of do a couple little drills here and there, from low ready and stuff like that. Wasn't my best, but anyways, gun range, there's a lot of talking, but there's no audio. All you can hear is the people talking in the actual shop. So sorry about that. Didn't even cross my mind that this was still connected because I had turned off my camera. And then whenever I turned it back on, it automatically reconnected. So you live and learn. But anyways, hopefully you're enjoying the video thus far. Thanks for sticking around. Hey, what is up, guys? So We are back at the house. I got a little busy yesterday, so was not able to clean the gun. I also gave you all a couple numbers that were wrong. I said 700 rounds. Um, Me and my boy shot over 700 rounds combined. So I'll say about 350 rounds was the last time I shot prior to yesterday. Yesterday I shot 184 rounds. So that's, right around 500 rounds without a cleaning. Yesterday, zero malfunctions whatsoever. So I think those few malfunctions that I had at the very beginning quite possibly could have been just a break-in period. But anyways, we're going to jump right into getting this gun cleaned because she needs it. So I went to my local academy years ago, and they had this little kit right here. It's called the Master Cleaning Station Universal. And this thing is pretty cool because obviously it comes in this like little case type thing. Whoops. Um, but it's also got a cleaning mat, and along with that mat, it is attached to this little tool kit here that has various calibers. Let's see, it goes from 12 gauge, 20 gauge, 45 ACP, 40 Smith & Wesson, 357 9 mil, 30 caliber, 280, 270, 243, and 22. So pretty broad range. And these are both brass and felt bore cleaners. It's also got extension rods, a handle, and actual like scrapers. The big one side is brass, the other side is like nylon. It's got a pick in there, comes with patches and stuff like that, so on and so forth. It's magnetized, super cool. But I'll get you flipped around. I'm actually going to throw you on the neck mount so you get a little bit better of a POV going on. But this is a pretty straightforward cleaning. But this is for the guys that don't really know what they're doing, but also have never messed around, and just so everybody sees, we are clear. But nobody has messed around with the ramjet and afterburner. But we'll go ahead and get you flipped around, and then we'll start disassembling and cleaning. Alright, so we've got a couple different solvents right here. We got the Hops Elite, specifically formulated for carbon and lead buildup and stuff like that. There's also this military grade solvent here. It's a multi-purpose cleaner and degreaser. And then I got some rim oil. This one is specifically formulated for rust prevention. This is the moisture guard right there, but it's also a lubricant. Normally I just have a normal little bottle of regular rim oil, but I'm going with this one for the rust prevention, simply because this is my concealed carry. This will be up against my body and stuff like that, out in the elements and stuff, and so just kind of want to help with that moisture prevention. I've also got some extra patches. These say these are for 30 to 45 caliber, but we can cut these as needed. But this little kit does come with patches and stuff like that as well, but as you can see, pretty low on there. And then also a game changer is get you some Q-tips. Q-tips help a lot, especially getting in those little crevices and stuff. So again, no magazine, show clear. So pull your trigger. You've got these little tabs right here on each side, and then this little notch right there. So all you're going to do is pull back slightly. You're going to depress all the way down, slide forward, and there's ramps right there. So normally with like a Glock or even like a Smith & Wesson or something, this will slide all the way forward off of the frame, but you've got these little tabs right here and right here, and those line up with these little grooves right there and right there. So whenever you're putting this back on, all you have to do is just line up those little grooves right there and then rack your slide and you're back in business. So as you can see, this thing is filthy, but the biggest thing about the prime Radian is you've got the ramjet and afterburner. As you can see, there is a tapered Torx right here, and then your spring. So pull out your spring, set that off to the side, and normally you would just pull this out like so and kind of manipulate it and pull your barrel straight out, but obviously you've got the ramjet right there. So you can purchase you know, a Torx set or like a gunsmithing torque wrench. I do have one for my rifle scopes, but the cool thing about Canik is they send this little miniature gun replica, but it's actually a tool. As you can see in there, there is tools in there. So this just slides forward, and then you've got spare parts. So you've got a takedown pin. I'm not even really sure where this goes. I think this is for back here. That's what that looks like. And then a couple more splined washers. That is for your optics plate, and then a couple different screws and stuff like that, again for your optics plate. But all we need is this little Torx that is included. Let's see what size. This is a T10 Torx, but that just goes in there. It's a little wrench. And this just screws off like so. And so as you can see, this is tapered. This only goes in one way. You gotta pull out just slightly. If you can see, there are some like anti-rotation like fins that marry right up to the slide. So pull that out slightly, grab your slide and your barrel firmly, and then give it a little twist. This joker is on there. So as you can see, this thing is pretty dirty. Let's see if it'll go. So that thing is on there pretty good. No big deal. It's been through a bunch of heat cycles and has not been cleaned in 500-ish rounds. So I've just got a little towel, workshop towel, rag, whatever you want to call it. We're just going to drape this over that. Got a pair of channel locks. There we go. All right. So, as you can see, there's a bunch of carbon buildup. So, once you got that off, now you can take your barrel out. You can see all that carbon built up on there. No big deal. So we're just putting some of that hops elite on there. I'm going to let that sit. And this isn't going to be a full takedown. I'm just going to do a field strip. I find that that is more than enough to get your gun nice and cleaned. Dirty. We're just going to get this Hops Elite all over here. Let it soak in for a little bit. Probably going to let this sit for about a minute or two. Alright, so while that is sitting on the barrel and the comp, I'm just going to take the brass side of this, come in here, do a little scrub. You can go as in depth as you want or not. My main concern is just getting the bulk of all this stuff off here. So once we get a good little scrape with the brass side, I'm going to flip over to the nylon side. As you can see, it's coming off quite easily. It's pretty filthy. Once you get that first initial bit of stuff off, that carbon buildup, just come in here, back behind it with the paper towel. Just trying to get the bulk of that solvent and carbon buildup off. But this is where the Q-tips come into play. You can really get in on those hard to reach places. Make sure we get in those slide rails. And we're also kind of inspecting this too, so we want to see if anything is broken or any significant signs of wear. You might be able to see, you might be able to not see, but some of the bluing right there from the barrel is coming off. That's pretty normal. I kind of like it. It's like a little bit of a patina kind of look. But basically, just want to get all of this big nasty stuff out of here. Sorry, camera angle is a little funky. The bulk of that right there just came from where the barrel is and where the comp is. That is probably one of the bigger downsides of having a comp. It's really nice, but there's a lot of junk that gets built up on the fore end right here where your barrel and comp meet. But we'll just keep on repeating this. So we've got the first big like pass of this done. So I'm going to hit it with some more of this solvent right here, not the foaming stuff. We'll set that off to the side, let it sit, and then we'll come over here to the spring. This is usually just a little easy wipe down. Nothing crazy, but as you can see, there is some buildup in there as well. But that Hops Elite, man, it does wonders. Now, you probably won't be able to see this, but I can clearly see some carbon on the back side of these springs, on like the guide rod, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. So I'm just kind of hitting this with a Q-tip. And I'm not a gun tuber, I'm not a professional, I'm just a guy who likes guns and likes to shoot. So I don't know all of the correct terminology and stuff like that. So as you can see, cleaned up a good bit of that right there. We'll do the same thing with the spring. Hit this with that solvent. Put it off to the side. Let it sit. And we'll come over here to the barrel. Give it a little wipe down. So you can see where that in right there up underneath that barrel. But I see a bunch of carbon right around here. So go ahead, come back in. With that brass brush, kind of work that in there. So went and got this little metal pick. It's a little bit more robust than that plastic one. I'm not really digging. Just kind of running it across there. I know you guys can't see this, but it's breaking up that carbon buildup. Pretty good. So, I don't know if you can see that, but this is the top side of the barrel. And as I mentioned before, this is going to be where the majority of your carbon buildup is going to be with anything that is comped. Come in with a little bit more of that solvent. Just keep very gently, very gently busting off this carbon here. So you don't want to go so rough that you actually like gouge and alter your barrel. It's already looking a ton better. So there's still Some more pieces there that I can see. Alright, so I've got a good bit of that carbon built up right here, but I just hit it with some more of that solvent. I'm going to let that sit, do its thing in there. And then I'm going to go in here with our rod, 9 mil. We're just going to do this bore right quick. Take a patch, run that through there, back through. So if you remember, those patches are rated for 30 cal, but clearly you can put those in here as well. If you don't want to buy patches, you can use an old t-shirt. I know y'all can't see that in there, but what I like to do is kind of take my barrel, shine up against the light, and kind of inspect the rifling and see just how clean or dirty the barrel is. It's actually pretty clean. We'll turn our attention to the actual frame. So, as you can see, she is a dirty girl. So, give this a good wipe down. And that hops, man, it does pretty good, especially whenever you let it sit. Seems like the longer you let it sit, the more effective it is. It is just wiping all that carbon off of that ramp rail right there, or whatever you want to call that guide rail. And again, we'll come in with some Q-tips, get down in these little areas right here. That Hop Sleep, man, that stuff is awesome. That's literally just wiping this stuff off pretty much. Go ahead, take the stippling off of this, whoops, off of the slide here, or not the slide, but the handle. So, just took a paper towel. This is one I've used, but we'll get some of that carbon that is up in the frame. Take one of these little patches, kind of work your finger down in there. looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Alright, so I'm gonna come back over here to this comp portion. Actually, hadn't really messed with the comp itself, so give this a quick little wipe down. See what we're working with, get all that extra penetration or solvent off of there best we can. To wipe our hands. Then come in with some Q-tips. So, alright, so did a bunch more scraping and stuff like that. Got it as clean as I want it to be. Barrel looks much better. But we're going to do a quick reassembly. This is where the rim oil comes in. So I'm gonna spray this pretty liberally throughout. Give it a good little rub down like so. Same with our barrel. Hit our conch too. Nice and lubed up. I like lubing up everything. So, that all nice and lubed. Barrel nice and lubed. Alright, so basically you're just repeating the process of before. And there's a spot there. That's alright. No big deal. Quick little wipe. Boom. Done. So you get these little fingers. That is the bottom of your barrel. I just grab it like this. Flip my barrel upside down. Boom. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and put my spring in. So boom. Now there's two tabs. There's a top one and a bottom one. You can see a little ramp right there. This bottom tab is where this part of the spring sits, just like so. Alright, now here, just going to slide our comp back on. Boom. And just so y'all can see, this spins pretty freely now that we've got her all cleaned up. Now, from there, all we got to do is just take that little screw, give this a good little wipe down, and then this just screws in using that same 10 mil. Screws right in. Now with this, you don't want to over torque this. You just want to keep going until you meet resistance and stop. Maybe like 1/8 of a turn more. You don't want to over tighten that. Alright, now here again, I like to lube up just about everything. So get that, get these springs real good, get up in there, hit these guide rails. Can never over lubricate your firearm. So I always say the more the better whenever it comes to lubrication. But from there, all you got to do is, again, you got these little tabs right here. You got these little cutouts right there. Just slides on top like that. Literally just down like so. Make sure it's seated on both sides. Then you come all the way back. I always cycle everything a few times. Gets everything nice and congealed. Obviously, function test. But yeah, from there, just kind of wipe off your excess oil. Now, the next couple days, you might have some oil leakage from where the slide meets the frame. That's no big deal. All you got to do is just wipe her off. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Super easy, quick, down and dirty, field strip, and clean. Again, as I've said before, you can get more detailed if you want to. But for me, this is plenty. Pretty good. Boom. Alright guys, so sorry if the video cut off earlier. Ran out of storage. I need to go through, delete some videos and stuff like that. But that was a quick little range day, you know, riding around and gun cleaning. Thanks for joining me. Again, let me know what y'all want to do with the giveaway. I'll give it until next Sunday, which is, let's see what that date is there. Next Sunday is the 30th. So on the 30th, by that time, figure out what we want to do with the giveaways. From there, I'll either select another winner or group in that winning and post a link for the new way to get registered for the giveaways. Anyways, this is Taz from Take It Outside. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you got any questions, let me know down below. See you on the next one.